Hello everyone. Happy Sunday. This is my very first Sunday morning, afternoon astrology forecast. So I'm super excited. We're going to talk about the week ahead and just kind of go by day, starting with today. Talk about what's going on, talk about what the moon is doing, talk about what Mercury is doing this week. And we won't really talk about the new moon just because I'm doing the live tonight at 8 p.m. CDT. So we'll just kind of like briefly discuss it, but then talk about really what's going on throughout the week. So we're starting the week off on a dark note for sure. So today on the 5th, today is Sunday, Venus in Libra is squaring Pluto in Capricorn. So yeah, so it's really uncomfortable. Venus is the planet of love, relationships. It's how we love others. It's how we give and receive love. It's beauty and art and desire and what we're attracted to. Excuse me. So Venus in Libra loves to love. Venus in Libra loves comfortable things, chocolate, good food, hanging out with loved ones, music, art, beauty, like all of those wonderful things. That's what Venus in Libra wants to do. Well, Pluto is death. Pluto is transformation. Pluto is darkness and super uncomfortable things. It basically drags us to hell or to the underworld so that we can metamorphosize and transform ourselves. So in our one-to-one partnerships, which Libra rules, there's a lot of conflict right now. We're having to face some things within ourselves, maybe within others, maybe within our relationship dynamics that we just didn't want to face. Unhealed trauma, darkness, things that we try to ignore. That's the stuff that we're kind of being faced with right now. And with Venus being in Libra, we just don't really want to face it. Like we don't want to deal with it. At least we're in Virgo season, so Virgo can kind of maybe push us to face the things that we don't want to face. But Venus in Libra doesn't want to face them, just doesn't. It wants to keep peace and harmony and just make everything okay. But Pluto is not going to have any of it, basically. So today we're starting with maybe some relationship drama, some darkness, some irritation, because it's a square aspect. So it's like the breaking up of energy and like the conflict between two energies that they don't go together because they're both cardinal signs. They're both leader, strong, initiator signs. So that's how we're starting off the week. Yay. I'm just kidding. It's okay. It's good because we'll kind of come out on the other side, maybe looking at our relationship with new eyes and seeing things in like a renewed way. Okay. So on Monday is the new moon in Virgo. New moons are, of course, about planting new seeds. It's about starting new, starting fresh. It's like an energetic reset button where we get to just change things a little bit. We've already let go of things during the full moon, but especially with Virgo, it's very much like harvest season kind of energy. So we're not only planting new seeds, but we're getting rid of the plants that are just like sick and deformed and they're obviously not going anywhere. They're not doing what we want them to do. Get rid of it. That's like very much Virgo energy, sorting through the crap, like separating the seed from the sheath. That's very, very much Virgo energy. Virgo is critical, perfectionist. Virgo sees the flaw in everything. The Virgo is very particular. They like things a certain way. They're here to improve, purify, and perfect. Not an easy energy for the moon. The moon is emotional and intuitive and like the waves of the ocean that just are constantly changing, or moods are changing. Virgo doesn't want that. Virgo wants it to make sense. Virgo wants structure. They want to solve emotions like a math problem. My moon is in Virgo as well as my Jupiter and my midheaven. So I understand this energy all too well. It could feel very like anxiety provoking, just like overall really uncomfortable, because we want things to make sense that don't make sense. Emotions don't really make sense, at least not to our human minds, not in like the Mercury way, which is like organized and structured. It's just not going to make sense that way, but we will try. We will try to make sense of it all with all of our might. Okay. So on the 8th, which is Wednesday, we have Mercury, which is the way we think, communicate, the way that we talk, which is in Libra right now, which is a great placement. Our communication is pretty on point. We're very balanced. We're very tolerant of paradoxical ideas. We're very like in a like a counseling, mediating state. And you can kind of like compare that with the opposite, which is Mercury in Aries, which is like, this is what I think. I actually want to irritate you and frustrate you. I'm just going to yell my opinion. The opposite Libra is like, I'm going to maybe tweak what I'm going to say so that it's more harmonious and peaceful, or maybe just not say anything at all. So we have Mercury opposing Chiron, which is the wounded healer and the teacher. So there's some kind of like push-pull energy here with like our emotions and our deep soul wounds that we have to heal. There's some kind of like tension, there's like a tightrope between those two things. So I think in the mental landscape, things that we really need to heal within our own minds, like our mental health, like that's where we're going to see some struggle, I think, some discomfort, some pain, maybe some immense pain followed by deep healing. Now unlike the square aspect, which is like the disrupting of energy, that can be solved with work. And the oppositions are like that too, but we're going to choose our favorite side, whatever is easier to deal with, Mercury and Libra. So we're going to choose the easier side. And what's going to happen is the other side is going to get suppressed, and we're going to either project it onto others, or we're going to attract people who are like the extreme of that. So most of us are going to choose the Mercury and Libra sign because it's just like way easier to deal with. It's balance, it's harmony, it's counseling, it's mediating, it's just like being the peacekeeper, the peacemaker in every situation. We're probably going to suppress the Chiron because Chiron is our deep soul wounds. It's things we don't want to face, but it's also how we use our wisdom to help others. But again, with that Venus in Libra, Mercury in Libra, it's like we don't really want to be too uncomfortable right now. Like we don't want to feel that way. We don't want to deal with conflicts right now. So we might attract people into our reality that are reflecting the things that we need to heal. Like we'll see it in them for sure, but we might not be able to see it in ourselves. I'm going to share my screen actually, because I have the chart up here, the current chart. Okay. So hopefully you can see that. If not, oh well. Okay, so this is today's chart for noon. It's 11:30 here right now in Chicagoland. So September 5th. This is today's chart. We have the sun in Virgo. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. I'm a Libra. So we have the moon in Leo approaching Virgo, and we have like a kite aspect today, it looks like too. Where we have Black Moon Lilith opposing the South Node, which is in Sagittarius. And then we have this grand air trine going on with Black Moon Lilith, with Saturn in Aquarius, and also Mercury in Libra. You know, this is interesting, I'll just say. It's very fascinating because I think kite aspects, it contains the grand trine, but the thing with grand trines is we can get kind of like trapped in that cycle, because the grand trine aspect, you can see like the blue triangle in the chart here, like the perfect triangle. It's a perfect conduit of energy where all parts are working together. But the problem with the grand trine is that it's a perfect conduit of energy where all parts are working together, like almost like in a nonstop rate. So it's like a constant like cycling, and with air, it's thoughts, like thoughts just going around and around and around and around. And with Lilith there too, this could be like dark thoughts, like traumatic thoughts, thinking about our traumas, thinking about people who took our power away. That's the stuff that's like almost on a loop right now, just going. And having this connection to the South Node, having the connection to the South Node is karmic. So this is like stuff that we're stuck in a loop on today because it's patterns that are echoing from our past lives. That's very much how I see this. And that is the way out, is like being aware of that, being aware of cycles. Saturn is here. So being aware of time cycles, things that repeat, things that just keep happening over and over and over again. That's kind of like where our awareness is being drawn right now. So we'll just kind of go day by day here. Okay. So this is Monday. We have the new moon. The new moon is at 7:52 p.m. CT. So the sun and the moon are in the same sign. We also had Venus conjuncting Vesta earlier. It was on the 3rd, I believe. Okay. So then once we get to Wednesday, which is the 8th, we have Mercury opposing Chiron. So you can see Mercury in Libra. The moon is pretty close by too, opposing Chiron. That's like the soul wounds creepeth in our mind. That's the uncomfortable things that we need to heal, we don't want to deal with, but there they are. That's that thing. Okay. So then we're going to go to Thursday. The moon is going to move into Scorpio. So we're on Friday right now. So on Friday, we have Mercury forming a quincunx aspect with Uranus. So Uranus is in the second house towards the bottom of the chart. The green dotted dashed line, that is the quincunx. So Mercury forming this quincunx to Uranus. Ooh, so quincunx aspects are very frustrating. They're irritating. They don't feel good. It's because the two planets involved, they don't really go together. Which I don't know about that sometimes, because Libra and Taurus, they are ruled by the same planet, but like they're worlds apart, I think, in a lot of ways. My best friend is a Taurus. Taurus is very narrow-minded, I would say. I love my best friend, okay, but they're very narrow-minded. They're very stuck, like fixed. They're a fixed sign. They're fixed on the status quo. So like if anything is unfamiliar to them, like they just don't trust it, and they're like, oh, no way. I think it's really amusing, actually. But Libra is more flexible, and they're at least open to ideas. Libra is deceptively opinionated, but they're very open to at least listening and like considering the possibilities, or at least acting like they are, right? So we have this quincunx aspect with our Mercury in Libra, our minds, with Uranus and Taurus, which is unexpected changes, aha moments, revelations. It's the type of changes that liberate us by showing us the really harsh truth a lot of the time. It's not always like that. Sometimes it's like a moment of surrender where the clouds open up and we see things in a different way. That's Uranus. Uranus frees us from something. So having this quincunx aspect, there's energies within us that just aren't going together. They can't be solved right now. So on the new moon, we actually have, sorry, I'm jumping around a lot, but that's what I do. Okay, so on the new moon, we have a quincunx aspect to Saturn and Chiron. So there's definitely this theme I've noticed this week of like frustrating energy where we're aware of the problem, but we don't know what to do about the problem. You know, it's just not time yet. We know that something's there because we can feel it, but it's like just out of view, and it's very frustrating. It's very irritating. It's making us feel just like very uncomfortable and like stormy within. That's quincunx energy. And it's true that the energy can't be solved. And I kind of see this week where the thoughts are going on a loop. They're just going around and around and around, and we want to fix it. We want to solve it. Virgo energy, we want it to make sense. It's not really going to fit together right now. So it would definitely help, and it always does, but it would definitely help to tap into the opposite sign of Virgo, which is Pisces, which is go with the flow. Trust the universe, trust the process, tap into our emotions and our intuition and let go. That's like the greatest Pisces energy there is. And that's might be that soothing energy that we need right now with the Virgo and with the Libra and, you know, with the Aquarius. It's a very harsh kind of air-like energy. And even though Virgo's an earth sign, it's very air-like because of Mercury's rule over Virgo. Okay, so we also have Venus entering into Scorpio. So you can see it in Libra. So let's just go by hour. Okay, there we go. So at 0 degrees here of Scorpio, we have Venus. Yay! So Venus is in Scorpio, which is my place when I love Venus in Scorpio. I don't know if anybody else does, though. There seems to be like an obsession with it, and here's why. So Scorpio is the sign of sex, rebirth, death, transformation. It's the most seductive, alluring, mysterious, magnetic sign. So people are drawn to Venus and Scorpio like they're drawn to their death. Venus and Scorpio wants to possess your your soul, and they make it seem sexy. They make it seem alluring. Yeah, I'm gonna bring you into my darkness. Come and tell me your secrets. I'm gonna reel you in, and then I'm gonna trap you. Like that's Venus and Scorpio. Okay, I don't do that, but so Venus and Scorpio is a time where we're going to be attracted to sex, obviously, but also crime, psychology, mysteries, the occult, anything that's hidden. Venus and Scorpio wants to dig and dig and dig beneath the surface, find the information, find the answers, find the truth, no matter how far you got to dig. So it's definitely a time for rabbit holes. Yes, go into those rabbit holes, learn about some messed up stuff, watch the crime shows, you know, whatever your thing is, the darker things that you're drawn to, that stuff is going to be very interesting to you now. You know, death and just that like darker, mysterious part of our lives, that's the stuff we'll be drawn into. Venus in Scorpio, it's the worst placement to have for Venus, but it has many gifts too. That's what I really noticed about having planets in their worst placement. There's so many gifts in that placement. It's like everybody looks at it as like a curse, but like there's so many good things too. So as I was saying, Venus wants things to be nice, harmonious, pleasant, lighthearted, love everybody, blah, blah, blah. Scorpio is not like that. Scorpio is intense, extreme, black or white, hot or cold, all or nothing. There is no in between. Either Venus and Scorpio loves you so much and will do everything for you, loyal, dedicated, or cold, nothing at all. So that's where everyone's going to be on the spectrum. What, here or there? There's no in between. Finding the middle ground, which is really what Venus wants to do. Venus wants to bridge the gap, right? Aphrodite wants to bridge the gap between Chronos, time, and Uranus, breaking through that, right? The breakthrough, the awakening. So Venus wants to bridge the gap, and Scorpio, there is no gap. There's only this or that. There's no in between. We'll all be feeling very psychically, emotionally in tune with each other to like a really uncomfortable extent. We'll see into each other's darkness, and that's always really uncomfortable for everybody, because we'll see the truth. Like we'll feel the lie before it even comes out of the person's mouth. Like we're gonna feel it, we're gonna see it, sense it, know it. It's intense. Okay, so just be aware of that. Venus and Scorpio, there's so many gifts, like I said, because Scorpio is the spiritual surgeon. Scorpio can feel with their feelers. They can sense that trauma, the decay, the rot, the things that you haven't healed within your own darkness. And their energy grabs it, goes within, grabs it, and pulls it to the surface that you can deal with it. So Scorpio really is the mirror, but not just like, oh, this is the mirror of who you are. It's the mirror of your darkness, of everything you haven't healed, of all that difficult, traumatic stuff that you don't want to face, you don't want to deal with. Scorpio is going to be that mirror for you, because they're going to reach within, cut it out, because it's ruled by Mars also. Cut it out of you, pull it to the surface. Here it is. Here, I'm gonna embody it for you so that you can deal with it. Not an easy energy. But at least like moving into the Scorpio energy, we're starting with Venus, right? That's probably the best placement in my opinion, because at least we're dealing with like the fun, interesting, seductive part first, and then we'll like really go into the depth, when Scorpio season comes. Okay, so we also have the moon in Scorpio actually at the same time. So the moon moves into Scorpio a little bit before Venus, so it's just a time of darkness, a time of metamorphosis. We're getting a little taste of the darkness that is to come. Relationship transformation. It's also very metaphysical, like I said. So yeah, so it's an interesting week. It's very extreme. And we also have this like septile triangle here connecting the South Node and Black Moon Lilith, which are pretty much still conjunct right now, with Jupiter in Aquarius and the Sun in Virgo. There's a lot of septiles right now, actually, I'm looking at. So this is on the 10th, this is on Friday. Septiles, and I always say this, are portals. They're gateways to other worlds, dimensions, universes, times, places, spaces, things like that. So different energy is funneling in. When I was tapping into this new moon energy, I really noticed like a feeling and synchronicities and messages of like really deep healing happening, because Virgo is the healer also, and so is the opposite sign of Virgo, Pisces. But Pisces is more of like a spiritual, emotional, metaphysical healer, like a counselor maybe. Virgo is more of a earth-based healer, herbalist, the medicine woman, the alchemist. In tarot, the hermit is actually Virgo, so is the Virgo card. So there's definitely healing energy coming in. It's intense, it's powerful, but it's very practical, and we can put that to use. And I think with all of this like septile magic going on too, there's something coming in. There's some kind of spirits, I believe, that are coming in to kind of help us along this process, because we've been through a lot. And I really do think it's time that we can't always stay in the underworld. We can't dwell there forever. I don't think anybody could deal with that unless you're Scorpio, I guess, or a Scorpio moon. We can't stay there forever, but I think we have to like live it now. We have to, and I'm kind of going off of this book that I have. Dark Goddess Craft by Stephanie Whitfield. We can't stay in the underworld forever. We have to live it every single day. We have to continue to make choices that reflect the wisdom that we gained while we were in the underworld. We have to really, like, with every step that we take, as we notice those lessons start to come back in, because they don't just end, right? Like, we don't just learn the lessons and then move on. We have to continue to really fight for our sovereignty and to make choices every single day that reflect what we learned while we were in hell, while we were in the dark night of the soul or the underworld. That's kind of the energy I'm getting this week with the new moon too. Like, we have to live it. Like, to be a warrior is not just a title. It's not like a badge of honor. You don't just like become a warrior. You have to fight for it every single day. You have to live it. You have to walk it. You have to be it. And we're never going to be perfect. And there's always going to be painful reminders of where we're coming from, but where we're going, that's what's really important. And how we get there, what we do, the choices that we make in the now, that's what really matters. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the screen sharing here. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. It's a really interesting week. I'm going to continue to do these every Sunday, just so you know what energy you're dealing with. And astrology is not a death sentence. It is not, well, maybe if there's like Scorpio involved, it might be a little bit of a death sentence, and, particularly with Venus this week. Just be aware of like that metamorphosis. But astrology is not an end all be all. This is just the energy you're working with. So you can choose to do whatever you want to do with this energy. It's up to you. Okay, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Again, my live stream will be at 8 p.m. Central Time tonight on YouTube. If I didn't send you that link, just remind me. Okay, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.